So FIFA 20 is now only a matter of weeks away. And if I am being honest, I am unbelievably excited for the game now after seeing the changes EA have in store. And so because of this hype, I decided to put together my list of the top 10 teams that need rebuilding in FIFA 20. Now, if you do not know what a rebuild is, it's a series that I run on my channel where basically we take over a team, whether they are a juggernaut of the game or a minnow of the game, take them over in their current situation and play with them, control them until they become European champions. So like I said, I sat down and put together a list of the top 10 teams that need rebuilding in FIFA 20, and I've kind of tried to make it a little bit unique, throwing teams in from different leagues, different scenarios of all different situations. We've got some of the world's bigger teams that have been struggling, and we've got some of the world's worst that are struggling as well. But lads, if you do go on to enjoy this video and you're excited as me for FIFA 20, make sure you leave a like on the video. Also, if you are new around here, make sure you bloody scorpion kick that subscribe button down below for FIFA 20 content in the near future. So we are going to start off in number 10. It is from the French league. It is AS Monaco. Now, if you weren't paying attention to the world of football for the past few seasons, you would think Monaco are still up there challenging PSG for Ligue 1 supremacy. But you would be wrong. Monaco have had a shocker of a past 12 months. They went through a ridiculous amount of managers. 3 to be exact. They had Leonardo Jardim, they had Thierry Henry, and they brought back Jardim. But last season, Monaco almost got relegated from Ligue 1. They finished in 17th position, just 2 points away from the relegation playoff game. That's definitely far from the star-studded and the money-driven club that almost won Ligue 1. In fact, they did win Ligue 1, didn't they? They won it in 2016-17, so that's a massive fall from grace for the French outfit. But it's not all doom and gloom for AS Monaco. If you do decide to take them over, there's a decent core of players. In fact, I'm pretty sure they just signed Wassim Ben Yedder to the club. So you do have a good core of players, but there is still plenty of work to do if you take over AS Monaco, and if you want to get them back to competing for championships. In number 9, we have potentially the easiest rebuild on the list, but I believe they still deserve to be here. It is Real Madrid. Now, compared to virtually every other team on this list, Real Madrid have things good. But comparing their standards to what they had last season, it was a shocker of a season. They did finish 3rd in La Liga last season, 19 points behind their fierce rivals Barcelona. They also were eliminated famously to Ajax in the Champions League round of 16, which was a disaster. A disaster as well, considering they literally won the season before's Champions League. But Zinedine Zidane is back at the helm here. Will he be able to have the success he had at the start? We're going to find out in the upcoming season, but that's no reason for you not to rebuild Real Madrid. There's work to be done if you want to get them a European title once again and turn them back into the Galacticos. So we go from the top of the footballing world down to the bottom. In 8th position, we have Salford City. Hey guys, once again, I would like to say a big thank you to EA Sports Australia for sponsoring today's video. As I previously mentioned, I have signed on to become one of the Foot United captains for the upcoming FIFA season. And today I have another giveaway for you guys. So tomorrow at the time of recording, I will be flying off to Cologne in Germany to head to Gamescom and play FIFA 20. And in celebration of this, and along with the new icon additions to FIFA Ultimate Team this year, like Zinedine Zidane, like Didier Drogba, Ronald Koeman, Carlos Alberto, Ian Wright, all of these crazy icons, we are going to be having a contest. I want to know which Bundesliga legend you think should be the next FIFA Ultimate Team icon. For me personally, I've got to go with Philipp Lahm. But if you would like to win a standard copy of FIFA 20 and an untradeable ones to watch player for your FIFA 20 Ultimate Team account, make sure you let me know who you think should be the next Ultimate Team icon in 25 words or less. You can do this by either leaving a comment on the Facebook post, I will leave a link in the description to that, or by replying to the Twitter post that I will as well link below by using the hashtags FootAU and hashtag EA contest. So once again, a big thank you to EA Australia for sponsoring today's video. Let's get right back into it. Now this is more of a build than a rebuild, but the general concept of taking Salford City from League 2 all the way up to the Champions League final is quite a mouth-watering, a salivating prospect. Or should I say, a salivating prospect. Been making YouTube videos for years and I still can't get my words right. Salford City, their climb through the non-league ranks all the way to League 2 has been quite interesting. They've bought their way, some would think, due to their owners being a lot of the class of 92 from Manchester United and also a Singapore businessman. But the whole scenario around Salford City is quite interesting. Like I said, the two Neville brothers, Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, Giggs, Beckham, all these guys are co-owners of the club and they've helped get them to the level they are now. And I think it would be quite interesting in terms of FIFA if you take over Salford, rebuild them all the way up to get them to the Premier League and even better than Manchester United. But I think the concept of rebuilding Salford City is quite a fun one. It's their first time in FIFA and hopefully they stay up because they're a club on the rise. Into position number 7 now, and we are heading to Scotland. We are headed to Hearts. Now, Hearts are the 4th most successful club in Scottish football history with 16 major honours next to their name. However, despite having won so many league titles, they haven't won the Scottish Premier League since the 1959-60 season. And their last major piece of silverware, their last major honour, was the 2011-12 Scottish Cup. So the storyline you would take if you did take over Hearts was, can you remake them into a Scottish juggernaut? Celtic need more competition. Can Hearts reclaim that mantle? On the other hand, if you wanted to move them out of the Scottish League to put them into the Premier League or the Championship, I would say probably the Championship, you could do that as well. But Hearts, a very, very interesting prospect. Can you turn them back into a juggernaut and turn them into a European juggernaut as well? Going back up to the other end of the footballing spectrum, in 6th position, we have Manchester United. We've looked at Salford City, but now we have their big brother. It is Man United. Just like Real Madrid, Manchester United's position is something that most football supporters that don't support a big club would love to be in. But in terms of what Manchester United and their clubs, their fans have come to expect, this is not where they want to be. They were once the most feared team in England when they were under the management of Sir Alex Ferguson. But it's safe to say across the past few seasons, this reputation has diminished. They did spend big amounts of money in the most recent transfer window, bringing in some quality defensive reinforcements in Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. But a lot of fans will tell you that there is still a lot of work to be done, a lot still to be desired. They were linked with a lot of world-class players like Christian Eriksen, like Paulo Dybala, even like Bruno Fernandes, but none of those guys came to the club. They lost Romelu Lukaku and got nobody to replace them. So if you were to take over the Red Devils, you would definitely be looking to strengthen up in those key areas. Look to bring in another world-class player, or you could go the other route. You could even develop the youth academy. Try bringing through another class of 92. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you take over Manchester United, you have one goal, and that is to make them the most feared team in England once again. Can you make Man United great again? No more fighting for 4th position. Man United needs to be fighting for the title. So we are halfway through the countdown now, and for 5th position, we head to Germany. We are focusing on Stuttgart. Now, VfB Stuttgart were relegated from the Bundesliga last season, which is a massive blow because, in my opinion, they have the structure, the support, basically everything to be a club that should be competing for European football, not in the 2nd Bundesliga division. This might be the worst comparison ever, but I would almost say that Stuttgart the German version of Newcastle United. They've got a 60,000 seater stadium. They've got some quality players, but they just can't get it done. It's crazy to think that they're going to be competing in the second division with players on their books like Mario Gomez, like Bad Stuber, Astonias Donis, Davi, Castro. All these quality players should be playing for Bundesliga sides or even better sides, but they're competing in the second division. So definitely a good core of players if you take over Stuttgart, and you should be pushing to make them the best team in Germany. Stuttgart, a very interesting team to take over in a rebuild. In fourth position, it's one that I think is probably the most unique choice on this list. It is from my home nation. It is an A-League club. It is the Central Coast Mariners. Some of you guys might only know the Central Coast Mariners as the club that almost signed Usain Bolt last season. And yes, that was a circus. And yes, they couldn't have hurt them because they finished dead last in the A-League last season, which is something that hasn't really been a bit of a shock to them because Central Coast have finished bottom of the table in the past 3 of the past 5 A-League seasons, and those 2 other seasons where they didn't finish bottom, they finished 8th. That's pretty atrocious in a 10-team competition. Now, with the Central Coast Mariners in FIFA, you have 2 options. You can either keep them in the A-League and fight for the Asian Champions League, or you can put them into any of the European leagues and fight for Champions League glory. If you do decide to take over the Mariners, you're going to have a lot of work to do, however. Get a lot of players into the squad and fight with not much money to your name. It's kind of crazy that the Mariners are in this position though, because at the start of the A-League and even as far back, well, not even as far back as 2012, they won the A-League. And they have been responsible with breeding some of Australia's best talents at the moment, like Mile Jedinak, like Matt Ryan, like Trent Sainsbury. So definitely a big storyline with the Mariners. If you take them over in the A-League, you want to get them back to those glory days and beyond. Or if you put them into the European leagues, can you make them champions of Europe? Headed back to Germany for 3rd position here. The bronze medal for the teams needing rebuilding in FIFA 20 career mode, FC Kaiserslautern. Kaiserslautern are 4-time German champions and have won the league as recently as the 1997-98 season. However, they were relegated from the Bundesliga as recently as 2012. This was after getting promoted to the Bundesliga 2 seasons before it, after spending 4 seasons in the second division. But Kaiserslautern, the Red Devils, should really be fighting for European football. Just like Stuttgart, they are a side that have such a capacity to be massive. They were massive in the past. They competed in the Champions League, they competed in the UEFA Super Cup, but unfortunately now they find themselves in the 3rd Bundesliga, the 3rd Liga, the 3rd division of German football, which is shocking. That is ridiculous. Last season was their first ever season in the 3rd Liga. They finished very mediocrely mid-table last season and find themselves in there once again with no real hope of getting out of it. So if you do decide to take over Kaiserslautern, can you get them back to that level where they're fighting for the Bundesliga and even fighting for Champions League glory once again? It's going to be a massive task, but we all know that we all love a good challenge when it comes to rebuilds. What's the fun in not having a challenge in life? 2 teams remain. The team that I think you should be rebuilding in FIFA 20 second most is Bolton Wanderers. They are currently in the 3rd division of English football, the EFL League One. Now this season they have started with negative 12 points in the league due to financial breaches. This was after they got relegated from the championship last season, and in all honesty, it looks like they are destined for a nosedive down to the 4th division, which I find astonishing given the fact that they were, I would say, a Premier League staple. Like growing up, I always thought of Bolton as one of the sides that just stuck in there, hung around, got the job done. But the fact that now they are on negative 11 points because they did pick up a draw on the weekend is just ridiculous. They've been playing this season with a basically all youth academy side. So it's a good opportunity for these youngsters to get some game time, but it is a sad state of affairs for Bolton Wanderers and their fans. At the moment, the club are currently seeking a new owner to save them from their financial crisis. So not only will you have to deal with a pretty low-rated and young team if you take over Bolton, you're you're also going to have some financial problems. But for number one on the list, it is basically Bolton Wanderers on steroids. It is Bury FC. Bury FC are the number one team that you should be rebuilding in FIFA 20, in my opinion. Now, they are in basically the exact same position as Bolton, where they are in the EFL League One, and they also did start the season on negative 12 points. But unlike Bolton, Bury are still on negative 12 points, as they have had their opening two fixtures of the league season suspended and cancelled due to the fact they only have 6 players contracted to the club. And it is honestly beyond a sad state at Bury. It is crisis. It is just the club are facing expulsion from the EFL. They're facing extinction. They have been around for 134 years, but due to some very irresponsible financial decisions from previous owners, the club, they're looking like they're gonna get extinct. They might not even be around by the time FIFA 20 is released, because the club have until August 24th, which is only 9 days away at the time of recording, to get their stuff sorted, to show that they can financially float the club. So unless they get new ownership in the next few weeks, Bury might not even exist, or at least in this capacity. And they can't even go out there and contract players so they can start competing, because they are under a transfer embargo due to the fact that they can't pay the wages of the players they have currently. So honestly, Bury, they need more than just a FIFA rebuild. They are gone. But there it is, lads. The top 10 teams I believe need a rebuild in FIFA 20 career mode. Who did I miss out on? Let me know in the comment section down below. But I hope you guys are excited for FIFA 20, a big year ahead when it comes to rebuilds and content on the channel. As I said, if you haven't seen one of my videos before, make sure you scorpion kick that subscribe button so you don't miss out come FIFA 20. But most importantly, lads, I hope you have a fantastic day. It has been JarradHD here. I'm out. Peace.